Hello, everyone. My name's Steve Linker, and I'm an account manager with AQL Technologies. Welcome to today's webinar on Power Apps development with Dataverse and Copilot. We're thrilled to have you join with us as we use Copilot and Power Apps and show you how it can transform your digital workspace, streamlining app development and boosting productivity within your teams. Let's dive into how these AI-driven tools can enhance your business solutions. Joining us today is Rizwan Ansari, Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Architect. He will guide you through a demo of Power Apps with the Dataverse using Copilot, share best practices and tips and tricks for Power Apps development. Drawing on his extensive expertise, he'll help you understand how to effectively use Copilot for Power Apps with the Dataverse development. Before we get started, a little bit about AQL Technologies. We're a Microsoft Gold and ServiceNow Premier partner. We bring over 15 years of expertise across federal, commercial, nonprofit, and government sectors. With more than 100 successful projects and a diverse client base, our team of over 200 specialists excels in M365, Microsoft Dynamics, Power Platform, RPA, and SharePoint. We've conducted over 500 training sessions and hold a GSA Schedule 70 and SBA 8A certification. Our commitment to deliver tailored solutions by working closely with clients to address their unique needs and challenges. AQL also offers the Power Platform COE Starter Kit to enhance your Power Platform setup and RPA for invoice processing to automate your invoicing. Explore these solutions on the Microsoft App Store to see how they can improve your operations and drive efficiency. All right, before we jump in, a quick note about webinar rules. All attendees can ask their questions and raise concerns in the chat. If your question or concern isn't addressed by the end of the webinar, we will follow up with you with an answer within 2 business days. There will be 4 sets of polls, each with 3 questions lasting 30 seconds each. Please take a moment to answer them. And then a feedback email will be sent out. Please respond so we can improve our content. So now I will pass things over to Rizwan.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, everyone. This is Rizwan Ansari. I am a Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Architect and Product Manager, responsible for architecting and delivering several AQL's Power Apps and SharePoint solutions. These are deployed to the Microsoft App Stores. I have successfully delivered and several projects on Power Apps and Power Automate and Power BI, including SharePoint and M365 governance. So in today's webinar, we'll explore how Power Apps development can be enhanced with an AI-driven tools like Microsoft Copilot, focusing on building enterprise-grade solution with Dataverse. We'll start by discussing what it takes to build the enterprise-grade Power Apps. Next, we'll look into the role of AI in simplifying app development, from automating routine tasks to providing smart recommendations. So you'll see how AI tools can accelerate the creation process. A live demo will be given over here. So we'll see how to build Power Apps with Dataverse with using Copilot, demonstrating the simplicity of using this natural language to build Power Apps. And then we'll wrap up with the best practices for makers, ensuring you walk away with actionable insights on how to leverage AI and Power Platform to streamline app development. So let us explore the essential features and capabilities that a Power Apps must have to meet the rigorous demand of enterprise environment. So let's dive in and start with the first essential feature, that's robust data management. It consists of 3 key elements like Dataverse, integration, and then data modeling and data validation. So Dataverse is a powerful tool for secure and scalable data storage. And with data modeling, defining comprehensive data model, tables, columns, and relationship is crucial. So for any enterprise-grade application, you need to have data validation, which is essential for ensuring that you have the right data in the database. So it ensures the data integrity. So in the past, we were tasked with developing a Power Apps for a logistic company that needed to manage their fleet and driver information. So by integrating this data was we provided a secure and scalable solutions for storing all their data. So we defined comprehensive data models to capture their details about their vehicle, driver, and route information, ensuring that all information was interconnected and easily accessible whenever needed. We also implemented this data validation where it ensured that all entries were accurate and complete, which significantly reduced the data errors and improved operational efficiency. Next is security and compliance. So by implementing the robust security and compliance, it's crucial to protect sensitive information. So the key component of security are role-based access controls and data encryption. So which can be achieved with selecting the right platform. So with Dataverse, you get the role-based access, role-based security access. Next, implementing this robust security and compliance is crucial to protect sensitive information. So the key component of security are role-based access control and data encryption, so which can be achieved with selecting the right platform. So with Dataverse, you get role-based access and data encryption at rest in transit and in transit. So also the compliance to the industry standards and regulation like GDPR, HIPAA comes with the platform. It's built in. So we in the past we partnered with a large healthcare organization. So they needed to modernize their patient and data management system. So by integrating Power Apps, we implemented the role-based access control to ensure that only the authorized medical staff could access the sensitive patient records. So no other can get to that record, just no matter what. So with Dataverse, we ensure that all patient data was encrypted both at the rest and in transit. So that comes with the Dataverse out of the box. So that helped us a lot in ensuring that we meet the HIPAA compliance and yeah, which is the industry requirement when we are partnering with the healthcare organizations. Next is performance and scalability. So moving on to this, it's important that our app can handle high user traffic and scale with the growing data needs. So you can achieve it with the help of the optimized queries, then load balancing and scalable apps. Next is the user experience. So having an incredible user experience is a key, which supports starting this user experience again. So user experience, having an incredible user experience is a key which supports the key elements like responsiveness and intuitiveness that works seamlessly across all devices. So also offline capabilities is some in some use cases it works wonder. So in past, like in a project with a field service company, we prioritize a responsive design to ensure that their app works seamlessly across various devices from smartphone to tablet. So they had all, I mean, people on the field and they have different devices, devices of different sizes. So it needed to like be compatible with every screen sizes. So we made it truly responsive. And most importantly, we implemented offline capabilities for them, allowing the technicians to access and update the job details even when without an internet connection. So it was crucial for that requirement for when they are in remote location. So yeah, it worked for them. It was of great value to them. Then moving further, we have integration and extensibility, which is another key area for building an enterprise-grade Power Apps. So with connectors and custom APIs and third-party integration, we can extend the platforms to various different systems with connectors that comes with Power BI. We can connect to different services. It can be SQL it can be a Salesforce or it can be any other service that we can connect to. Custom APIs, so we can just develop an API and call it in your Power Apps or Power Automate. So it's all possible when we are working with Power Apps. Automation and workflows can significantly increase your efficiency. So by automating all different processes, we can reduce those manual tasks and save time. With help of Power Automate tool and Power Apps, we can write complex business rules and complex automation can be done that can add a great value to the enterprise. Then AI integration can take our apps to the next level. So leveraging the Copilot. right? Leveraging Microsoft AI Builder to process the form, like implementing the form processing capability, like object, like form recognition, or reading some invoices from the PDF, or any information from PDF. That works wonder. Even text recognition and object detection. AI powered analytics, like utilizing it for AI for advanced analytics purpose and predictive modeling and data driven decisions. These are all different use cases that we can use AI for. We can even create a custom model and call it a Power Platform. So these were the various key areas that we have to take a look into while building an enterprise-grade Power Apps with Dataverse. Moving further, let's look into the role of AI in Power Platform low-code solution. So next generation technology is changing how you develop low-code solutions. So now with Power Platform, you can use natural language to bring ideas to life. So in a design experience with Copilot in Power Apps. So simply describe your app in a few words, and next generation AI will create your app and help you redefine and update it, and you can play with it. So with Copilot with Power Automate, you can build workflows. With Copilot with Power Virtual Agents, you can build complex chatbot to manage internal and external conversations. Then you can use AI Builder to extend the AI to add the AI capability to the virtual agent. Then yeah, so let's look into some of the areas, so some of the role of AI in Power Platform that it plays. So like for example, adding AI skills to Power Apps and workflow. So with AI Builder tool, it lets you add AI skills to the apps and workflows, which means that can build an understanding in the app that can read forms, can analyze feeling from the text as to the feedback received from the customer. Is the customer happy? Is not happy? He's annoyed, or any. We can read the feelings using AI and make predictions. Okay, finding important data. In Power BI, AI can help find trends and unusual thing in data. So making it easier to understand and make decisions. And then chatbots, just Power Virtual Agents, it lets you build a chatbot without coding. Means even a citizen developer can build that. These bots can handle internal and external requests, increasing the agility and modernizing processes. AI leads you to improve decision making, so it can process large amount of data and provide real-time insights, enabling better decision making. You can just run query, you can ask AI in a simple language, and it can extract information from the large data set without knowing without having the technical know-how of the things. And with AI using Copilot in Power Apps, as we'll see it further, it simplify the development by enabling natural language. So I mean, so you can just type in and ask Copilot to do your work. You can ask it to create an app. You can ask it to generate a formula. So it can do a whole lot of things. We'll look into that a bit in the demo coming up. Let's look into the benefit that comes in with the AI in Power Platform. So first is accelerated development. So it reduces the time needed to develop an app by automating repetitive tasks like generating data models, creating workflows, and writing code from natural language prompts. So this frees developers to focus on higher level customizations. Y- then use of ease of use for non-developers. So AI makes low-code platform even more accessible to users without coding experience. As I said that earlier, with natural language processing, anyone can create and modify apps by simply describing what he needs, enhancing productivity and skills across all levels. The third one is the data-driven insights. Again, we've talked about it. So with AI-powered features like Copilot, if we add that control to the Power App, we can use that. It will it will I mean interact with data conversational. Users can converse with the data. I mean, they can type in and get the right data from using Copilot. Then proactive suggestions. Copilot Using Copilot provides real-time recommendation for improving apps and workflow. So helping users optimize their performance and functionality without needing extensive trial and error. So let's let's see some action now. So I will show you the Copilot experience in Power Apps that can create multiple tables and relationship simply by describing our app needs to Copilot. We will see a live entity relationship diagram that maps the entire interconnected table structure. We will then work with Copilot to modify the tables and build additional table, relate them together, and build a fully functional Power App that is connected to the multi-table structure. So then we will also perform some UI changes to the Copilot and Power Apps. And yeah, let's check it out now. So yeah, let me just share my. So here is a Copilot screen that I mean the Power App screen, that's home screen. So over here there's a Copilot prompt that I can use to start my app development journey. So I will create an app that will help me admins or people in the organization to manage the employees. They're adding a new employee, setting their department location, and updating the leave information about that employee. So this is specific to a admin who can, or the person in the HR department. So with the proper access, we can create a group and give only those users access to this app. So let's create an app by saying that create an app that to manage employee in the organization with tables. I can define, okay, what tables I need. The tables like employee, department, location, and leave. So this is my need, and I will just say, okay, just go ahead and create it. So Copilot will run its magic now. So with this, Copilot will spring into action and will now start framing multi-table data structure for me based on the input that I provided. So this is a brand new, we'll see a brand new entity relationship diagram experience that my Power App has given us. So this is the one that I was talking about. So it maps out the different tables that Copilot has suggested based on the prompt that we have given. And it also highlights a different relationship between these tables. So as we can see, there are 4 tables that got created. And yep. So it gives a complete visual representation of what exactly we are going to create based on this. So as you can see here, leave to employee is a many-to-one relationship, and employee to department is again many-to-one relationship, whereas again employee to location is many-to-one relationship. So let's click on view data for employee. So here you have all the column that's available for in the employee table. So you can see employee is a text column where you can just check this data type of this column is single line of text. It is required, and this is the internal name of this column. You can go ahead and change the display name as needed. Department is actually a lookup column. If you see here, data type is lookup, and it is connected to the department table, as you can see here. And the location again it's a single line of text. It's a data lookup column, sorry, and it's connected to location table. And we have a leave balance, so the data type for this is whole number. Similarly, we have other table like departments. So it has just one single column with, and if you have observed, Copilot has given me some sample data to play around. That really helps me in just visualizing how the data will look like. So we have a department. It just populated some departments over here. Then we have leave, which will store the leave information. Actually, the leave entitlement for this. Actually, the leave information of this employee. So this can be part of other application where employees are submitting the leave. So Yeah. So the focus of this application will be just around management of employees' information and department association. So location, it has all the location, and we can add location here as needed, and I can play around with this table as needed. So let's do some changes to this structure. So leaf table, I will ask Copilot to add an additional column, which will be start date and end date. Add an additional add columns like start date, end date, number of leaves. Okay. Okay. So leave days are already there, so I will not say. I will just say add start date and end date. Okay. And then I'll say okay. Go ahead and create it. And since I had selected the leaf table, it will create those two columns in in this table itself. Or I could have just mentioned, okay, add columns like started and ended to the leaf table. So it will have created right in the leaf table. Also, let's so you may need you may have a need where you want to import some master data while you are creating that master table. So for example, so I have roles in the organization that they want to import into a new table. So let's just quickly import or create a table based off a role, based off a Excel file. Okay, so let me just quickly open that file and show it to you as to how it will look like. So these are the sample values in the roles table. So this table will straight away import that roles into. I mean, this process will import those data into this roles employee role table. Now, then we have. I will say that want to link the employee and the employee role table based on. I mean, just add a lookup from employee to employee role table. So what I will say is add a new column in the employee table as this will be the column name, employee role, all right, and this must be lookup to the that's employee role table. Okay, so before I press enter, so I see we don't have any employee role column, so I'll just give an instruction to create a one. So now it will start processing. Let's work on it and then inform me once it is done. Sometimes it takes a while to process it. Okay, now you'll see here the relationship between the employee role and employee table got created. So here it sends me the information. Okay, a new column employee role has been added to the employee table. As I look up to the employee role table, a many-to-one relationship has been established. So I get to see all this information. And if I see the table view data, you will actually see an employee role column created. And if I click on this, it's really pointing to employee role table. So that's amazing. So this is something a citizen developer can just go ahead and define the relationship between these table and add more table. They don't have to worry about how to import data from external source. So they can just use this simple import tool while creating tables. So that works wonder for anybody, any new person who are looking at this and with no knowledge on how to work on Power Apps. It works wonder for them. So now with that done, so I will go ahead and save it. All right, and this will now save. This will save the tables, and all the relationship will open in Canvas Power App that will be connected to all of those. I mean, this screen will open up in Canvas Power App. So all tables that were created will be visualized as screens, uh, respective screens in Power Apps. So it will take a while for this app to get ready. Once this is created, you can customize it further to provide role-based access on the screens to the users. Right now, this it will not have that feature. So, but you can take it to the next level where you can actually make those screens accessible based on what role the user has. The person who has logged in, suppose he's a end user, he will just see the leave app, leave leave screen, whereas the admin will have access to the other screen where he can manage the employees, he can manage the departments. So yeah, that's the thing we can. That's the way we can take it to the next level. So now the app is loading. Let's give it a little bit more time. Here we go. So the app is ready now. I'll just skip this. Now, if you can see that, I'll just do a quick run of this app. So this is a home screen, and then I can click on employee, takes me to employee screen, can go back, click on employee roles. So then can go back, all departments. So I can see all those things, those data that was there. It just is visible over here. We have locations, and then we have leaves. Okay. So let me just exit from here. And one thing to note over here is this is completely responsive. So I'm I can make it visible in different screen sizes. As you can see here, this app will adjust itself based on whatever screen width it is rendering in. So yeah, it's completely responsive. Even if we change orientation, it will adjust itself. Okay, I'll just come out of this. Okay. So let's make a few modifications. First, I will set the images over here just to rather staring at a blank images. Let's just show some images over here. Okay. Employee roles, departments, location, then leaves. Okay. All right. Um, so I can even change the dimension of this image as needed. So, but I'll just keep it as is for now. Then let's ask Copilot to make some modification to the UI. So on the employee screen, what I will do is just okay. I will say add a button to the employee screen. So when I click that button, when user click on the button, it should navigate to the welcome screen. Okay, the label of the button will be take me home. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Is let's see, Copilot is working on it. So here we go, and it created a button, and it did label it take me home. Awesome. So I'll just move it here somewhere I want to keep it. Okay, and then I'll just quickly run this and check if it is really working or not. So yeah, took me home. That's awesome. Employees take me home. Great. So I can play around a lot. I mean, I can add several things, several whole different elements, lot of elements here. I can add hyperlink. I can add labels. I can do a lot of stuff in here. So one more thing we'll do here is a conditional formatting based on the data. So we have a leave screen. Okay. What I'll do here is I'll say insert text label. Okay. So I selected that this row so that it will pick up the context of current item. Okay. So I'll say here what I'll say is generate. So this color I want what I'll do is I want to make this red if the number of days is more than 2. Just adding some logic here. Okay, so what I'll say is okay, the font color. Do we have color over here? Let's say fill. And what I'll do here is I'll say generate a formula to show red if greater than 2, else make it um, green. Okay, so I'll just press enter here. So here we go. It's generating the formula. So this is Copilot in action. Okay, let me something happen which did not generate the formula. Let me just comment this. All right, and then give this thing again. Okay, let's make it back to its original state. Let's okay, it's doing something now. Here we go. So it has not generated the formula. I'll say accept. Okay, and let's see if this is working at this stage. If it is working or not working, let me see. If it is not working, I'll have to tweak it a bit. Actually, I clicked the wrong element. Sorry. I should have clicked on this. Okay, and then, yep. So now I'll just comment this and say, okay, I'll just copy that same formula. Okay. So this might be this item. Okay, it has to be current item. Okay, ideally it should work. Let's just run this and see if this really work or not. Yeah, for some reason it's going out. I'm not sure why. Okay. Okay, now it's picking up. Sometimes I have to just play around a bit. So if you click on different element by mistake, it will apply to other area. Okay. So yeah, this is conditional formatting in action. So in case, so I'll just run this and see. So here it's 1, 2, 5, 4. So up till 2, it's just green, and then you have red. So this is how you can apply. You can use Copilot to actually generate formula and then leverage it to actually do the development. So um, that's on the demo side. So let me just go back to the presentation. Um, let's look at some of the use cases for where we can really use Copilot, and there are some cases where it's not actually suitable, or at this stage, it's not suitable to be used. So in cases where you have a requirement to build form-based applications, so which can be a data entry, surveys, feedback collection. So those in these cases, Copilot can be used at will. Means we can use it, just give the instruction, it will generate a form for you. As we have seen table design, we can ask Copilot, I want to remove this column, I want to add column, I establish relationship, change the data type of the column, import data from some external sources. Those are all can be done easily. Even generating basic crude operation, doing some workflow automation where it can help you design the workflow in the Power Automate with Copilot can really help you design those activities within the workflows. Then dashboards and reports, even it helps you create extend while you want to create some kind of dashboard and reports within Power Apps. So these are the areas where you can just go ahead and use Copilot for development. Um, in in less suit- in some cases, the less suitable use cases are highly customized UI UX applications. So you cannot expect Copilot to create uh, uh, an app like how we just saw, app like that, which might be, for example, may need an app which might be complete leave application, okay, where you have role-based access, where supervisor has different view, where HR has different view, where employees submitting the leave has different view. It's all role-based access is needed there. So those kind of highly complex application with complex UI UX, where you have various conditional formatting applied on the form based on some APIs being reading some data, so you can still use Copilot as an assistant to generate those bits and pieces of information, but you can't expect just write a prompt and it will generate that app right away. So that's we are not at that stage currently with Copilot. Then complex business logic, again that's what I said, and performance intensive application. So apps needing high performance real time data processing or needing to handle large volume data might be better suited for traditional development environment rather using Copilot. Even security critical application where you have to build right security can depend on Copilot to ensure that all security measures have been taken care of. So yeah, these are the less suitable use cases of Copilot. Yeah, it will assist you in bits and pieces, but can't expect it to create an app as a whole. So let's look into the best practices for and tips and tricks for the makers. So choosing the right data source. So if I am in the Power App, okay, so when I'm creating an app, so I have to ensure I'm selecting the right data source for the app, whether it's Dataverse, SharePoint, or it can be a SQL or Excel as a data source. But you have to ensure that whatever data source you're selecting, it's right as per your needs, as per your licensing requirement, currently whatever is in infrastructure. So you have to spend a time to understand to decide on what's the right data source for you. So so when working with Power Apps, you have to consider the data source where it has. I mean, let's cut out from here and then I'll start again on this data source. So let's look into the best practices and tips and tricks for makers. So let's look into the best practices and tips and tricks for the makers. First is the choosing the right data source. So if we are creating, so I'm on the Power Apps create an app screen. So if you can see there are several data sources available. So when working with Power Apps, choosing the right data source is one of the most important decision to make early on. So two popular options are SharePoint and Dataverse, and the choice depends on several factors. So you need to consider the type of data you are working with, whether it's relational or non-relational. With it's important to understand the capacity limitation of each data source and how they handle security. Each option has its strength and weakness, so selecting the right one will ensure your app runs smoothly and meets your business needs. So there are some key considerations that we have to make. So so these considerations are around the data. So what type of data, how much of it will your application require? How do you want to search the data? Then how will the app be made available on the application side? For example, will it be a Teams app? Will it be custom code or something else? Will guests be accessing your applications? Who will build the app? Low code guys or pro code developers? What special capabilities does your application need? On the integration perspective, so what do you want to integrate with the system? Which system you want to or you're connecting with? Is it a database? Is it API, which might require premium services, premium licensing? It can be a SharePoint list where you don't need any licensing. So you have to consider all those things. Then on the governance and admin side, whether what's your organization requirement related to security and compliance? Will they allow guest users? Okay, and will they allow citizen developers to create the app? Are there special requirements for backing up and restoring the data? So there are various considerations that you have to do. Also, let's look into this comparison chart. That it's a good comparison chart that helps you decide on selecting the right data source. So it's comparison between list then Dataverse for teams and standard Dataverse. So considerations like type of data, what type of data you're uploading, whether this is list files, images, or whether it's whole level of like data lake, log, Dataverse, relational files, and all those stuff. Then how many number of data types that it supports, or you may need to support common data model, capacity of your data sources, how will data move in and out, security of your data. So with SharePoint list, you'll have owners, member, visitor, design approvals, roles that are customizable. Whereas on Dataverse, you have a robust option to satisfy complex and enterprise scenarios, such as role-based access, auditing. A whole lot of features are available. What will be a client, whether it's just a list, teams, or custom code, or whether it will be really be a Power Apps, Power Pages, Dynamics 365. So what's your guest limitation, pro developer capability, package, and deployment consideration. So yeah, so you'll have to consider all of these while building an app. So there are some licensing consideration as well. So I've seen in some cases where apps were built without considering these licenses, where and it was ready to go live. They realized that users need premium license now, okay, to actually use the app, which they never considered during development. So it was their lack of knowledge that they have developed the app, and then now they are in trouble because now they have to go for change requests or get an approval on the budget to get those number of licenses. So you have to consider licenses on the for this entire thing for Power Apps and Power Platform. You have to consider right licensing, if whether you need a premium license, whether you need a standard license. So what kind of users you are catering to. So just if you are in the Power App, let me just open that real quick. So if you see here, there's some diamond icon over here. So it means that that data source requires premium license. Whereas if you see SharePoint, it's a standard license. You don't need a premium one. So yep. So you need to ensure that you are selecting the right data source for. You have to think whether it's scalable, whether you have to think from the long-term solution, long-term perspective. Yep. Then let's move back to the slide. The naming conventions, that's again important. So in Power Apps, you have to have a consistent naming convention. So it improves your app ability to be maintainable. So I mean, anybody looking at it at the code, if it is not standardized, it's really a big mess then. So for like while developing, you use names like for labels, use LBL customer name prefix with LBL for labels, whereas for text input field, you can prefix the field name with txt. For example, if it's a customer name, make it txt customer name. BTN submit can be for submit button, right? So and there's a big PDF by Microsoft that you can refer to. So it has all the coding guidelines. You can search it and you'll get it. It's one big document by Microsoft that guides you, uh, give you standards and standards of coding. Okay. Then on the limit data connections, so you have to limit your data connections, number of data connections that's happening that you're using in your app. So do not have more than 30 data connections in an app. Then you have to use code commenting. I mean, that's obvious that we have to make your code readable to anybody who is reviewing the code. And without code, why you have written that line? If you don't do that, then it's a problem for anybody reviewing or maintaining that or updating the code. So just have right commenting in your code. Then ensure that you have the right you are working with the right version of the Power App. So when Power Apps releases new version, so it brings it in new functionality with it. So to ensure that you have the right, you're working or targeting the right Power Apps version. So if you are in Power App, you can just click on settings, support. So here it's authoring version is you can click on edit and see. So this is a current authoring version, which is 10311. So which is a recommended version. I can switch back to older version if I am targeting the older version, which should ideally not be the case. I should always target the latest version. But if I want to just test something in the older version, I can switch to older version from here. So custom theme where you have so Power Apps has provides set of standard theme that you can use, but there's no option to create a custom theme directly in Power Apps. But using Center of Excellence toolkit, it includes a theming component with a theme editor. So you can use this editor to define a theme for your app, export it and apply it export it from there and apply it over here to maintain consistent branding. Delegation is also an important thing in Power Apps. So it's allow app to delegate the task of performing the queries to the underlying data source. So when you are working with large data sets, your data source must support a delegation to handle the data in an efficient manner. So the data source that supports delegation are SharePoint, then Dataverse, then you have SQL Server, Salesforce. So these are the data source that supports delegation. But even with this data sources, there are delegable functions that are available. Some are non-delegable. So if you are using those functions which are not delegable, then you hit a um, limit of 500 to 2000. So that's configurable right within your app. So going back to the app, and if I goes to settings, and in general settings, I can actually set the row limit here. So for in case of non-delegable environment where data source doesn't support delegation, so I can set the maximum row limit that I can the maximum data that I can retrieve from the data source. Right now it's 500. I can extend it maximum to 2000, not beyond that. So yeah, ensure that you use the whatever data source you're using. It should be delegable. Components is something reusable one that you can create either local to your Power Apps or globally by creating them inside the component library. So there is a creator kit that's available, which provides you some ready to use components like navigation, grid controls, and then pop-ups and many more. So you can use a creator kit for those ready to use additional controls uh, you want to get. You can just search the creator kit and you can get it from Microsoft. Then the last thing is number of controls on, yeah, limiting the number of controls on the form. So lesser the control, faster the form will be. That's an obvious thing that we have to consider. So don't add unnecessary control on the form. Sometimes people tend to add it just to save some data behind the scene to make it available. So better we use it in use a better way of storing the information rather just adding loads of control on the page and then you write so many rules on this control. So eh, the app will become slow. So just limit those number of controls. Then cache data to Power Apps, where you use caching of data rather querying to the data source all the time. Use caching within Power Apps. That will improve your performance to great extent. Let's look into some of these Power Apps developed by AQL and available from the App Source. You can download and use it as the trial version. We have app like Timesheet. These are all Power Apps deployed to App Source. Timesheet app, then archiving, supply management, release and change requests. We also have waste management app in the App Source. You can use it as needed for 30 days and then reach out to us for if you want to extend that trial. Then we have loads of web parts out there in the app source, whether it's organization chart or roadmap, employee birthday, spotlight, quick links, kudos, people directory, FAQs, super jobs, hero plus, broken permission, managing the broken permission, and dynamic navigation. That's all from my side. Thanks for everyone. Over to you, Steve.
I want to thank everybody for attending our webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, 773-793-1619. I hope to see you all in our next webinar. Thank you and have a great day.